Hello, hello, beautiful women all over the world. I am so honored and excited to share this message with you tonight. Welcome to your invitation to heal. I'm going to be going over how to heal your father wounds so that you can stop falling in love with potential. Before we get started, I'd like to ask you to turn off your phone, turn it over, silence it, get rid of any distractions so you can set yourself up to receive this gift that I'm going to share with you tonight. Open this webinar in a new browser window, get a clean slate, take a deep breath, and let's dive in. Who is this for? This masterclass is for women who did not have healthy relationships with their fathers. If you did have a healthy relationship with your dad, this class is not for you. This is about old childhood wounds that have been showing up in all areas of your life. Your friendships, your relationship to money, your ability to set boundaries, your ability to perceive your options in life, your career satisfaction, your experience of self-love, your mental health, your ability to care for yourself. But most of all, this old father wound is showing up in your relationships with men. It's possible you've crash landed on this webinar after a string of increasingly painful romantic relationships. Maybe the last one was so bad, you're not sure you even want to try again, at least not for a very long time. You're struggling to understand how to create change in your life, and you know there's got to be more than this. There's got to be better than this. If you have been struggling to find peace in your life, excitement in your career, and joy in your love life, this is for you. In the next 60 minutes, I want to help you understand your father wound response archetype. Find the number one reason why you're stuck dating the same man over and over again. Address how your core belief system formed as a child and is self-sabotaging you as an adult. Find the real link between your childhood and your love life, and reprogram yourself to receive healthy love and abundance instead of giving all the time. Lastly, I want to help you learn how to get free and stay that way. Here's the truth about healing your father wounds. The wound is not your fault, but the healing is your responsibility. No one can save you and no one can do it for you. You have to be ready to do the work, to face the memories that made you. I cannot personally make you ready. It's something I really want you to know is that resistance is a real part of healing, because we're asking portions of you and your former belief system to die, and you will feel resistant to that. So if at some point you feel irritated, annoyed, or put off by something I've said in this class, good. That means it's working. Keep listening, because all I'm telling you is love and healing and truth. So if it's bothering you, keep listening, keep pressing past what has been familiar so you can have something new. It is possible to be ready and afraid. Does this sound like you? You want to have a healthy relationship with love and money without reading any more self-love books. Please, no more. You've tried traditional therapy and the self-help and the yoga classes, but you're still stuck. You're reading and you're ready to stop repeating painful cycles in your love life. You're done falling in love with potential and tired of picking up the pieces of your broken heart after every relationship. You've been trying to fill the hole in your heart, trying to find someone to love you, and you're so tired. You've been teaching, coaching, healing, saving men because if you help them, then they'll never leave, right? You've been letting men stay because dysfunction feels safer than abandonment. You've been continuously attracting men you don't respect, whether that manifests as personal assistants who do everything for you or little boys who you have to do everything for. It doesn't matter. You don't respect them. You long to feel known and seen and appreciated. Do you ever feel like you wish you could just be rescued? Can someone amazing please just come along already? I'm exhausted. I've been working on myself and I'm such a good person. I'm loving and caring and attentive and supportive. If what goes around comes around, when is it going to be my turn? The real problem is your father wounds are running your life. Your relationship with your father is replaying in your romantic relationships. You're following the pattern he set for you about your value and your options and what you're chemically attracted to. He founded your core belief system, whether he was inconsistent, abusive, or all out absent. So your inner child, the little girl inside you, is seeking out men who remind her of her father, trying to reconcile that pain, trying to get her father to pick her this time, trying to get him not to abuse her this time, trying to get him to stay and show up, to be interesting enough, trying to save him from his demons this time and be compassionate and loving this time, making excuses for him while he breaks her heart, trying to make him happy, trying to figure out what he needs, trying to figure out how to be something different this time to get him not to hit her. He's familiar, which is a word that sounds a whole lot like similar to your family. And for those of us with father wounds, that's a huge red flag. We need unfamiliar. If it feels like you've known him forever, you fit so well together, it just feels like you can't let go and you don't know why, that's not love. That, my friend, is your father wound. I want to teach you how to master these 5 steps to get free, because once you do, you'll be released from repeating the patterns and cycles that are deeply hurting you. You won't feel that gnawing lump of anxiety about whether or not you're really lovable. You'll experience self-respect and boundaries and have healthy relationships. You'll release old belief systems you've been operating within and understand how and why you keep selecting partners who remind you of the pain your father caused you. You'll know you've started healing and have real evidence when you consistently choose joy instead of misery. When you start choosing excitement and rejecting boredom, choosing peace and rejecting chaos, just refusing to engage. When you start choosing self-respect and rejecting diminishment daily in the little choices. When you are choosing to take excellent care of your heart, body, and soul and refusing to participate in hurting yourself in any way, you'll have a new life. After you get so hooked on living your joy and loving yourself, you can be free to choose a consistent, reliable, kind, gentle, funny, sweet, brilliant, generous, talented, amazing partner, just like you. So before we dig in, I want to quickly share my story with you so you know how I got here and learned all of this. Welcome. I'm Sade. I'm an author, speaker, and breakthrough coach for women. I've helped hundreds of women walk through programs that set them free. I've written a book. I have toured the country. I've spoken at high schools, colleges, and conferences. And I love what I do. It is absolutely my soul's purpose. But it wasn't always that way for me. 10 years ago, I was dating much older men, back to back, and refused to take anything longer than a few days off at a time between boyfriends. I feared the pain of loneliness and abandonment and rejection. I was lost, scared and sad, and hid behind lots of makeup and ridiculous clothes to try and heal the pain in my heart. I tried to fill that hole in my heart with beauty queen crowns, degrees, certifications, retail therapy, you name it, I tried it, but nothing was making me feel any better about myself or liking the person who I saw staring back at me in the mirror. Maybe you can relate. I struggled with wanting attention. This picture is my 21st birthday, and it deeply embarrasses me to share it with you. I don't know what I'm wearing or what that overdid hairdo is. But I want to encourage you to have compassion for yourself if you can relate to this space. People see someone on the outside who is trying so hard, and her overdid hair and too much makeup. And I'll tell you what I was saying inside my heart during these years. Somebody please pay attention to me. Somebody please notice me, love me. Somebody please take care of me because my daddy won't. Underneath that overdid hair and too much makeup was a broken heart. I wanted attention. I stuffed my bra. I'm 6 feet tall and I had the audacity to wear 6-inch heels. I wanted to be noticed. I thought that that would make me feel worthy. I started dating very broken people and tried to help them, save them, heal them, strap them to my broken back and walk. I thought I was picking deeply broken people to love because I was helping them, but in reality, I was deeply broken and just attracting back my own heart. I wanted love to come along and rescue me from my life. I had no idea that I was supposed to rescue myself. I finally began to understand how I was contributing to my own suffering. I was sending a broken heart out into the world. It could only find a match with other broken hearts. I finally got help and took full responsibility for my puzzle piece instead of blaming the people that were being matched with it. My whole life changed. I decided to be single for a year. I got into therapy and I got a coach. I compiled my research into a book and told it through the lens of my own teenage life after my father left. I became a messenger, traveling the country, excited to find women anywhere and everywhere that I could. I wanted us all to know we didn't have to keep living in the cycle. We could get free. I also fell in love, got married, had a beautiful baby girl. Today, I'm connected to my purpose and living my best life in Hawaii. Through my coaching programs, I help women heal their father wounds and get free to enjoy lives that they love. So here's what you'll learn today. You'll understand the number one reason why you're stuck dating the same man over and over again. You'll learn how you've been sabotaging your love life. Find the real link between your childhood and love life. And reprogram yourself to receive healthy love and abundance instead of giving all the time. And invest in a mentor. So where do we start? First up, we have to understand our father wound response archetype. Why? Because nothing ever goes away until it teaches us what we need to know. I love this word by Pema Chodron. Nothing ever goes away until it teaches us what we need to know. In my research, interviewing over 200 women ages 18 through 75, these are the archetypes that I found in response to inconsistency, neglect, or abuse by fathers. First up is the Alpha CEO. She's a powerhouse. Her resume is incredible. She's highly accomplished, extremely successful, well organized. And she usually has a problem dating frighteningly beneath her. She often turns her boyfriends into personal assistants. It's okay to be an alpha who is attracted to beta men, but she doesn't respect her partners. Friends tell her that dating him is ridiculous. She's unhappy, and she seems to be pressing repeat. She often ends up being a mother figure to very irresponsible little boys. Next up is the Savior. The Savior comes from a very broken and sad place. She has so much pain inside of her heart that it is actually easier to focus on other people's problems. She tries to help heal, save, teach, coach. She usually ends up giving them assignments, reading material that they don't do, and she ends up brokenhearted when her relationships end because she gave everything. She tried to be Jesus and even save his soul, but she doesn't get there, and she ends up devastated because he never returns the favor and he never asked to be saved in the first place. Next up is the Merger Wish. This woman usually picks very powerful men. In our culture, we refer to it as a trophy wife, where She doesn't have to self-actualize or accomplish any of her dreams because she can live vicariously through him. And she usually does have very big dreams and picks men who are interested in the same industry as she is. So, for example, a woman might pick a wealthy man who is an accomplished writer if she has always wanted to write a book but can't seem to find the self-esteem to do it. She'll wish to merge her life with his. Next up is the revolving door. This girl hasn't been single since the 6th grade. She doesn't take any time off between partners. She hates sleeping alone. Loneliness is unbearable. It feels too much like abandonment. Mrs. Commitment. Oh, Mrs. Commitment breaks my heart because she's a romantic. She wants to see the good in people. She wants to believe in people. So she looks over what many would consider glaring red flags and romanticize them, sees them through rose-colored glasses instead. And she ends up brokenhearted and devastated when her relationships end because she has been denying what is within her. She keeps coming back to that place. Usually it's broke and broken when her relationships end. And all she wants is to be married. She thinks it will solve it all if she can just become Mrs. Insert man here. And she will have all the love, joy, peace that she's been looking for. But she hasn't dealt with her painful realities or her past, so she keeps attracting very unsafe people. And lastly is the shutdown. She had a few relationships that broke her heart, and she doesn't want to try anymore. Maybe a marriage ended, and it was so totaling for her that she hasn't dated in years and isn't sure that she ever even wants to try again. And when you understand your response to your father wound, you can consider that what you've been experiencing as your mental health or the way you've always been might actually be a series of behaviors that you developed in response to trauma. Maybe you're not really Mrs. Commitment. Maybe you're not really an alpha CEO. Maybe that's who you had to become to survive. You can start asking yourself, who am I outside of the way my dad treated me? What would happen if I stopped living as a product of the story of my childhood and started creating my own story? I am here to tell you today that you can write a new story. You don't have to romanticize unsafe people who hurt you, and you don't have to earn love. I want to help you learn how to institute standards for your life and not just accept anything that's offered to you. You can stop using shame and discipline to try and create change in your life so that you can be free to play, invest in your hobbies and yourself. You can nourish your body and balance your schedule without feeling exhausted and scared. It is possible to release your father wound archetype and be someone new. I know because I used to be a hardcore savior. Hashtag retired that cape. It was not doing me any favors at all. Here are some of the ways you might know that you're a savior. And for the record, I did all of these things. Lending money to men who are not your husband. If he needs to borrow $1,000 until his next paycheck, he needs to call his mama. Writing his essays, business emails, or resume for him. Cleaning his room, doing his laundry, being any manner of a 1950s housewife at his apartment. Opening a bank account in your name that he can use. Co-signing a loan. Putting anything in your name that he will have responsibility of. A real king protects his queen. He does not increase her liabilities. Directing boyfriends to books or resources when he has already shown you that he will not read them or participate. You cannot be a coach or teacher for your partner, not in a direct sense. You really, truly cannot drag him toward his own greatness, no matter how hard you try. You may also have spent some time believing what he says over what he does. Here's what I really want to say about this. Potential is a word I'm removing from grown women's dating vocabulary. Potential is a word for 5th graders who might grow up to be on the honor roll in high school. There is no one day when you're dating an adult. One day is right now. Whatever he is doing right now is who he is. He might do it better. He might actually start using a day planner. He might even change his career altogether. He'll probably make more money, but his character, the people that he's chosen to surround himself with, and the way he lives his life, that's who he really is. Believe him. And stop making doctor's appointments he doesn't want to attend, continuing to engage with him when you no longer respect him, staying with someone who has cheated on you or has ever put his hands on you violently. That's a deal breaker. Block his number. You cannot save him from himself. Lots of women experience shame when their partners hurt them. I want you to know you didn't do anything wrong. His unchecked rage or inability to keep his word is a reflection of him, not of you or your worthiness. Love yourself. Get out. That is his shame to carry. Lastly, allowing someone to lie to you. You know when someone is lying. It doesn't make sense. The timeline doesn't add up. Your body doesn't feel right. Trust your body. It is the temple of the spirit. So if your belly and your chest tighten up and your hands start sweating when he's talking about something or where he was, something ain't right. If you find yourself paralyzed and unsure of what to say, I always like these lines. In order to be in a relationship, I have to see someone behind your eyes I can trust. Until you can tell me the truth about blank, we won't be engaging any further. That's how I retired the cape. When I stopped saving men and saved myself instead, I got to figure out who I really am. The truth about being a savior is it is as exhausting as it is completely time consuming. I had to put my dreams on hold to try and save my messy exes from themselves. Releasing the idea that my worth was determined by what I could do for my partner allowed me the space to invest in my hobbies and find out what I like. I was able to become a yoga teacher, travel the world, earn a master's, and write a book. The things I could do when I wasn't weighed down by my lack of boundaries. I mean, seriously, there are so many gifts inside of you just waiting for you not to be tired so they can come to the surface. Step 2, stop sabotaging your love life. Unworthiness is held in your subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is very powerful. It wants to protect your core beliefs. So if any new conscious belief about yourself or the environment around you is contradictory to your core belief system that is already in place, the new information will not be accepted. Your brain's like a computer. It will just be like, does not compute. This new loving, healthy, fun thing you're doing, don't get it. Good news, you can move past the resistance and blocks that your young mind created to try and protect itself. In order to alter a core belief, you will have to understand how and why you created these protective, self-sabotaging core beliefs and learn to find compassion for yourself. The subconscious mind can work in your favor. It wants to protect your core beliefs, so you have to figure out what those are so you can change them. What core beliefs manifested as a result of your relationship with your dad? What do you now believe because of the way he fathered you? For most women with father wounds, it all boils down to one word: unworthiness. When you haven't gotten help for your father wounds, your core belief system can sound like this. Because my dad wasn't around, I thought I had to do everything for men so they would stay. Because my dad wasn't around, I became the strong one, the responsible one. Because my dad abandoned our family, I assume I am difficult to love, heavy, that I have to try, that taking care of me is a burden. Because my dad was inconsistent with me, I believe that love will always be hard for me, that I will struggle to find someone who finds me lovable. Again, these are not conscious thoughts. They reveal themselves through your choices, habits, patterns in relationships, your self-care routine, and your bank account. Father wounds can show up in all kinds of places. Your intimate relationships, your work and career, your money and finances, your social life, your family and friend relationships, your health and your body, your self-care routine. They can even show up in your ability to perceive your options. When you haven't gotten help for your father wounds, your life is stuck on repeat. When you have gotten help for your father wounds, your core belief system can sound like this: I honor myself by holding boundaries. I listen to my soul and move through life with a deep sense of joy. I do not chase anyone. It is safe for me to communicate honestly. I forgive everyone for everything, including myself. All desperation, lack, and need to make this happen is replaced with confidence. I love taking care of my body, mind, and soul. I am light. I honor my gifts. I leave people who hurt me repeatedly. I am lovable. I am forgivable. I am forgiven. I refuse to be made to feel small or unworthy of abundance. I am worthy of every good thing on this earth. I love me. Here are a few words from my clients that I wanted to share with you, because getting to that place where that sounds like your core belief system, oh, it's so beautiful. This is from Michelle, who I worked with last year. I broke up with my boyfriend halfway through the Get Free, Stay Free lifestyle program with Sade. No, trust me, he was the worst. I realized I was making excuses for him all the time and totally fell in love with potential. She said, don't listen to his words. Just look at what he's done. Who has he shown you to be? And I honestly couldn't remember anything other than a lot of sweet talk with no real date support or involvement in my life. I thought I was crazy. Then tried to help me realize my relationship with my father was over the phone, and he never came to any of my events, birthdays, or important life moments. No graduations, no Disneyland trips. A light bulb went off big time. This all talk and no action was a cycle repeating in my friendships and relationships. It honestly felt so good to call him and say, I'm leaving you because I want so much more than you can give. A few weeks later, I got a promotion at work that I really wanted, and I feel like a straight up love magnet. Sade is amazing. Book the intro call. You won't regret it. Step 3 is to find the real link between your childhood and love life. The link is in your patterns. The link is in your patterns. The link is in your patterns. If you take almost nothing else away from today, that's what I really want you to get. Your self-worth, your mental health, your energy, your spirit. You are a puzzle piece heading out into the world looking for a match. You're the magnet. So if there is a long line of disastrous dating, it's time to take responsibility that the common denominator here is you. If you're one of my clients, you're probably thinking right now, but Sade, I'm such a good person. I just don't understand how I keep ending up with all these jerks in jobs I hate, surrounded by frenemies. I give so much love and get so much pain for my trouble. And yeah, I hear what you're saying about the archetypes, but I used to be a revolving door in my 20s. I've got some romantic and a few savior tendencies, but Bumble and Tinder have got me seriously considering shutdown. Like, how is this my life? Well, there's plenty of research about how this came to be your life. Girls without dads are more likely to have sex sooner. They have higher rates of teen pregnancies. Girls with abusive or inconsistent fathers are less likely to go to college, more likely to struggle with depression and anxiety. They're more likely to get divorced. The list literally goes on and on. This one really fascinated me, though, and I wonder if it will take your breath away like it did mine. Girls who grew up without their fathers actually start developing sooner. They get their period sooner. What does that say about the literal biological protection of a father? To me, that means when dads show up, we get to be little girls longer. When they are inconsistent or absent, we have to grow up faster. Wow. Did you have to grow up too fast too? You are biologically wired to fall in love with what feels familiar to your father relationship. So if your father was abusive, inconsistent, or absent, then you are not wired to fall in love with what feels good, safe, loving, or whole. My dear friend, I'm so sorry to tell you, you were wired to fall in love with what hurts. You feel compassion for men who hurt you. You make excuses for them. You even feel sorry for them. Accepting scraps of attention and affection. You forgive them because the pain of abandonment says your subconscious mind is worse than this dysfunction. And you absolutely do not have to stay that way. Helping my clients identify patterns is one of the most critical parts of the process. There is a wealth of information for us available in our patterns. It reveals to us where our deficits are and where we most need support to heal before we engage in dating again. Many people make the mistake of thinking that love is simply a mirror. When we engage in love from a place of lack, desperation, then what we attract will reveal what we lack, not who we are. So, for example, if you keep attracting jealous, possessive, controlling men, we are lacking boundaries and self-respect. It doesn't mean that we also struggle with jealousy. Revealing your patterns reveals your work. So when you find your pattern, you found the beginning of your path to freedom. The pattern is what we have to unravel. I was in a pattern of not taking care of myself before bed. I traced that pattern back to remembering that my mother worked late nights in television. My grandmother was tired and my father was absent, so my babysitter was in charge, and she would have rather been doing anything else. The actions that would later become my own self-care routine as an adult, like running my bath, brushing my hair, washing my face, were done with an attitude, like it was a burden, as if taking care of me was heavy and annoying. None of those things are true. I was able to release that lie and give myself permission to enjoy the self-care routine and find products and scents that I really like. Finding the pattern was the beginning. Here's a few words from my client, Layla. I found Sade's book at a time when I was beyond broken, fresh out of a heartbreak, and I do mean fresh. My live-in boyfriend of 3 years moved out while I was at work, and he left me a note. I felt like everything was standing still. I called a friend over because I didn't want to be alone in there, and she brought me Sade's book. I read it all in one night. There were so many parallels in our lives. 6 hours earlier, my heart was shattered. After reading her book, I saw my ex had done me a favor. I was trying to make him into someone else. I became her client the next day, and she helped me completely recategorize and reorganize my life. Now I'm running my own business. What? And I love every second of it. I'm actually having fun dating. I used to feel desperate and tired and like, please, can one of you just work out already? And now that was night and this is day. I'm actually enjoying my life. That is a revolution for me. No more drudgery. Instead, so much joy. I'm probably going to have to explain to my future husband why our firstborn will be named Sade, regardless of gender. I'm so grateful to her and pretty sure she's an angel. Layla is hysterical, as you may or may not have picked up on. But one of the things I think that she kind of glosses over in this sweet review she wrote for me is that when she says, I'm actually enjoying my life, how many of us have been in that place? We're not actually enjoying life. We're going through the motions, and it doesn't have to be that way. We don't have to deal with a little bit of depression and a little bit of anxiety for the rest of our lives. We can have a fulfilling life. We can be abundantly satisfied with what we do every day. It's possible. We just have to be willing to do the work. Step 4 is to reprogram yourself to receive healthy love and abundance instead of giving all the time. This step hasn't been working for you because you've been trying to do it first. I really want you to grasp onto that. This step hasn't been working for you because you've been trying to do it first. You've been trying to build a new house on a cracked foundation. So repeating mantras and going to yoga class and reading all the books in your Amazon cart aren't going to do it. They aren't going to heal your father wounds. It won't hurt, but it won't heal it either. You have to reprogram your mind after you understand your current programming. It isn't enough to say, I am confident, I believe in myself, I am worthy of love. You have to understand the who, what, when, and why of your lack of confidence. There is a phrase so critical to your success. It needs to be found. And you'll know you found it because it will either make you laugh or cry with discomfort when you hear it. It will sound so far-fetched. For your subconscious mind, it sounds absolutely as preposterous and untrue as looking in the mirror to say, I am a blue-haired unicorn. No, seriously. For many of my clients, even though phrases are especially freeing, so even though my dad didn't show up for me, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. When you don't understand your programming, you'll be drawn and attracted to what caused you pain because it's familiar. You won't be able to stop the magnet. I want you to deeply know you deserve better than trying to survive a life of violence against yourself, of replaying your father wounds. When you understand how your brain is wired, then you can rewire it to include vibrant friendships, healthy self-care, adventure, purpose fulfillment in your career, sweet love that feels safe, because you'll leave what is painful instead of trying to fix it. Let's start doing some of that reprogramming right now. Reprogramming your mind after you understand your current programming. I hope you can start doing that work together with me. So let's close our eyes. Take a deep breath. Women all over the world are speaking healing into existence with you right now. Trust in that power. Breathe into it and repeat after me. I am worthy of every good thing on this earth. Amen. Open your eyes. Let's hear from Brooke on the subject. I never realized that I only dated men who didn't want to commit or put a title on things. My dad also never claimed me as his child. I never put those two things together before. I didn't think they meant anything or belonged in the same box. Sade helped me see that little Brooke was just trying to reconcile that hurt and was attracted to men who reminded her of her dad. That was my definition for love. Not anymore. I was especially blown away by Sade's brain research and brain training work. It was a real breakthrough for me. I have a new definition for love now, and I'm so glad I did this work. Step 5 is to invest in a mentor. We have to stop asking people for directions to places they've never been. Oh, such a good one by Glennon. How many times have we done that? Asked auntie, cousin, sisters, friends, and they have no idea. They've never had a healthy relationship. They don't go to work at a job that they deeply love. We've been asking people for directions to places they've never been. And if you've been trying to do it by yourself and read all the books and DIY yourself there, we were never meant to do it alone. That's why it's not working. Healing is not a one-woman job. Father wounds will not go away on their own. You will continue to attract people and experiences that support your core belief system until you heal and reestablish it. I can promise you that. Support and accountability while you try new strategies is vital to your success. It is crucial. You will not make it. You have to get support from people who have the results you want. Asking our friends and hasn't worked yet. I was mentored to this moment in my life and my career. Absolutely. There is no way. I can guarantee you, there is no way I would be living in Hawaii, doing what I love, free from unworthiness, if I was not willing to invest in myself and mentorship. No way. I would not be here doing this without my coaches and mentors. And the same goes for anything, really, if you want to be good at something. So if you think about, maybe you want to try to learn a new skill. If you want to, learn how to golf or something, you could watch a bunch of videos. If I was trying to learn how to do a good golf swing, you could be out there for thousands of hours. Or you could get someone to correct your posture, tell you what you're doing right, doing wrong, hold you accountable, say, let's meet at 6 a.m. You could save yourself years of struggle and force and injury by getting a coach. And lastly, let's hear from Sienna on what it was like to get help with her father wounds when Sade asked me, what if you gave yourself half of what you've been giving everyone else? Something broke in me, something that needed to break a long time ago. Working with her is hands down the best gift I've ever given myself. So just to recap, today you learned how to find the roots of your father wounds, identify patterns, start reprogramming yourself to believe you deserve every good thing on this earth. You learned why it's so hard to fight against your subconscious mind and why you have to reprogram yourself with mantras and mirror work and more. You learned why you need support to pull this off. You're here today because you recognize you have some self-destructive, sabotaging habits. There are worth issues showing up in your experiences with love and money. You've been struggling with anxiety, and you want a real solution to the pain you've been struggling with for so long. There are too many similarities in your relationships, and you recognize you are in an unhealthy pattern, perhaps a pattern that is similar to your relationship with your dad. You felt like this for too many years, and you are ready to make a change. Now is your time. It's your time to experience freedom from unworthiness so you can have a career you love. It's your time to get free from patterns and cycles in your relationships that are deeply hurting you for good. It is your time to get free with the guidance of a step-by-step system that will give you the tools you need to stay that way. Remember that nothing I've shared with you today is theory or some ideas I thought might work out. These are all things me and my clients have done to achieve successful, happy relationships with ourselves, in love, and with money. I don't have access to crazy expensive resources or Oprah on speed dial. I just have a system that works. It's based on years of experience and hundreds of interviews. If I can find my way out of my patterns, I promise you can too. Here's what you need to win. Understand your archetype, the number one reason that you're attracting the same man over and over. You need to learn why you're sabotaging your love life. Then we need to find the real link between your childhood and your love life. And 4, you need to reprogram yourself to receive healthy love and abundance instead of giving all the time. And 5, you'll need to invest in a mentor. So now, you have an important choice to make, my friend. You can keep doing things the way you have been, or you can acknowledge that this is a crossroads in your life. You can try to read some more books and do some more mirror work and try to make early morning meditation happen. You can write another soulmate list. You can keep dating the same guy in different clothes and asking your girlfriends for advice. You can keep attracting broken men to your broken heart. You can keep hoping that Prince Charming will come along one day and rescue you from your current life while you live disconnected from your purpose, going to a job you hate. Or you can acknowledge that things are not working in your love life or in your self-esteem, and you think that your relationship with your dad might have something to do with it. You can finally admit and say out loud, I think that this pain, this father wound is holding me back. I think my relationship with my dad is replaying in my life and I am sick of it. I want out of this cycle. I deserve better than this. You can raise your hand and admit that you need help with no shame, that no one around you is truly an example of a life lived on fire with passion and purpose or in a relationship that you admire. You can confess that too much of this beautiful life has already gone by, suffering with this pain and anxiety and depression, weighing you down. You know you have more to give, more to experience than this. You can acknowledge that you don't actually really know what healthy love looks like. You can stop clogging up the flow of the universe by getting rid of self-harming habits. You can stop working at a job that makes you uncomfortable or is just smaller than your soul's contribution. You can stop hanging out with people who hurt you. You can enjoy your life. You can take the time you need to focus on yourself and heal the wound that is acting like a magnet so you can be free to occupy your authentic identity. When you get help for this father wound, you can be free to do work you love, surrounded by love, filled up with love. Here's how I can help. My team and I have set aside some time to speak with you personally over the next couple of days about where your father wounds are holding you back. The cost is free. This is for you if you are completely committed to changing your life. You've got to be fed up with a pinched existence, and I do mean done, capital D-O-N-E. You've got to be tired of accepting less love, less peace, less joy, less abundance than you know is rightfully yours. You have to be ready to face yourself and the memories that made you. There's nothing I can do to help you be ready. Can be ready and afraid. You can be ready and afraid. You can be ready and afraid. Why am I doing this? Pretty simple. It is absolutely the calling on my life to see women set free from their father wounds. The before and after in my life is so extreme. From the back-to-back dating and shame and guilt and pain and fear and anxiety to a life that I love, I definitely wouldn't have known it was possible 10 years ago. I would probably still be waiting for Prince Charming if I hadn't done this work. My job is to help you reset the foundation so you can know more love, joy, and peace than you ever thought was possible, so that you can be you, not you who was fathered by someone in pain, who you were always meant to be, who you were divinely designed to be before the story. If you want me to help you, and my team and I think you'd be a good fit, we may invite you to become one of the 8 one-on-one clients I take per month. If we work together, you'll walk through the same one-on-one program with me that I've walked all my clients through. There is a story you've been telling yourself, structuring your life around. My goal is to help you find that story, unravel it, and write an altogether new one together. We'll scan 8 areas of your life for unworthiness and then create a blueprint upon which to build your new life. It sets a standard so you can reject that which doesn't meet it, so you can have boundaries and live your life according to self-respect. Does it work? Me and my clients are the proof. We are all, every single one of us, making more money, having more fun, and experiencing relationship in an entirely new and loving way. I want to encourage you to know that none of us has ever done it alone. If you've been thinking about how you're going to DIY this, none of us has ever had a life-altering breakthrough in a Facebook group with 1,000 other people in it that changed everything. None of us has ever read the book so good we were never the same. Real change will not come through shaming yourself or disciplining yourself to a new state of mind. The only real change comes from a change of heart. If something touched your heart today and you're ready to accept this invitation to heal, please reach out. To accept your personal invitation to heal from me, you can open up your browser and head on over to this URL, shadeashani.com/consult. That's ShadeAshani.com/consult. If you want to learn more or get in touch or write me an email, send me a message, let me know. Let's do this work. It's time. Thank you so much. I love you all.